Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, March 31st. I just got back from seeing my favorite movie of all time, G.I. Jane, actually. Great film. If you haven't checked it out, you probably should because it is inspirational. It is an incredible movie to watch with your friends and your family about the struggles of a woman with alopecia. That being said, I hope we've all kind of, as a society, kind of let the dust settle from what we had witnessed on Sunday, and which was, to a normal person like me or you or anybody who watching it, probably thought that it was just peak entertainment. That's what I thought it was. I was absolutely glued to my seat, and I essentially had to watch to the end of the show because if you don't know, if you have been under a rock for a while, what I'm talking about is the Oscars and what happened at the Oscars. It went from a pretty formal ceremony, pretty paramount ceremony with all the actors, actresses, producers, directors, writers, stunt people, everybody involved in all these films that were nominated for the Oscars this year. They all get together to have this wonderful ceremony to accomplish and award awards to the biggest achievements in the film business. And then it was suddenly abrupted and turned into a smackdown, where in one corner we have, from West Philadelphia, born and raised, we have Will Smith, and the other corner from Brooklyn, we have Chris Rock, comedian, essentially in almost a fight. That could have broken out. Now that didn't break out, but if you don't know, I'll catch you up. Will Smith decided to walk up to the stage and smack Chris Rock for telling a joke about his wife, Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, about her hairstyle. Because if you don't know, Jada Pinkett Smith shaves her head because apparently she has alopecia, which causes the hair to fall out. I didn't know about this until actually that moment. I would assume Chris probably didn't know either, hence why he made the joke. But even if he did, it's a joke. He is Chris Rock. He is hired to tell jokes. He is hired to, kind of break the ice and, interject a little bit of vulnerability and a little bit of criticism to these people that, we as regular people, you and I, just kind of watch from a side, from the distance, because, besides it being like, a big audience there with people in the business, it's televised to people like you and me, to see these people at their, their highest point in their careers, receiving these awards and being accoladed and being inducted into this, this film fraternity, this film elite, I guess you could say, for the rest of time. And, comedians are brought in to joke around with those people. And by the way, I think that all these people that, the actors, actresses, directors, for the most part, some of them have no sense of humor. It's not meant for them to enjoy. It's meant for us to enjoy because, we're the ones watching. The regular people at home are the ones watching. And, to be fair, the joke was quite funny, I thought. The G.I. Jane joke. It wasn't really like, you can't grow hair. No, it was just because, you look like you could be a part of G.I. Jane, my favorite movie of all time. Women's Month, too. But, it was I thought it was pretty harmless in a way that anybody really would take it too seriously. And at first, Will is laughing at the joke. Will is laughing at the joke that Chris said that she's going to be in G.I. Jane 2. And I thought, this is great. This is comedy at its peak. Will Smith can laugh it off. And then, a split second after they cut away from Will's reaction, and in that same frame, you see Jada not being so happy, actually being kind of, stuck up about it and being like, hey, that was mean. I don't like that. And then it shows Chris's angle, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Whoa, what, Richard?" Like he actually called him Richard from King Richard the movie. I thought that was pretty funny as well. And he's walking, kind of slow, like a power walk, and all of a sudden he just kind of it was quick. It was a quick motion. He just kind of smacks him across the face. And, I thought it was fake at first, live. I thought it was fake live because I was just like, it was also censored in America, so I couldn't really hear what he was saying because, censorship in America. And the cameras were, you can tell, like, the people who are, like, producing the show, like the camera angles and all that, and the movements were like, what the fuck is happening? This is a complete audible. We got to shoot everything that we can as best we can. So you got a couple wonky views or angles at first, initially when he does slap him, and then when he walks back. And then he yells, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." You had to find that on the uncensored versions, because in America it was just all bleeped out. You can hear nothing for like a good, like, maybe 20, 25 seconds. And then you hear it, and then you see it, and like, wow, this is incredible TV. This is incredible. And even Chris Rock said, like, that was the best moment in the history of television. And he was completely right, because, look, I love the unexpected. I love chaos. I enjoy that so much, and the out of the ordinary. And to see that happen, so unexpected, and to see that happen was just absolutely, for me, hilarious, and too shocking. Because, like, look, I'm a normal person. I'm a regular average Joe. I'm not an actor. I'm not in Hollywood. I don't have, and my life is not to be written about, right? But for those measly moments, that 30 seconds, that 45 seconds of absolute chaos in Hollywood, because you got one man, a legendary comic, who had an incredible joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair, and then you got another actor, an actor that I love, in Will Smith, right? Independence Day, Hitch, I Am Legend, Men in Black. One of my favorite actors of all time, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, who absolutely just audibles and smacks Chris Rock across the face. Now, he kind of dodges it a little bit, but he does make contact. I've seen it in slow motion, and he does make contact. And for the, at first I was like, is this real? Is this real? Because, again, when I first saw it, it was censored, so I couldn't hear what Will was saying or even what Chris was saying, because that whole portion was just censored. Then when you see, like, you hear Chris's voice, and that he was, like, actually, like, wow, dude, like, it was just a G.I. Jane joke. He's like, keep my wife's name. And then, he seemed stunned and shocked. That I'm like, there's no way that this was probably staged, because he actually made contact with his face. And that's technically, assault in a way. Like, you actually walked up and made contact in a violent act and actually hit somebody. That can be considered assault. So there's no way that I'm thinking, like, this is staged, because, it's been a few days now. The Academy has released statements that they asked him to leave. He didn't want to leave and stuff like that. And, like, the entire thing, when he was actually allowed to stay in that moment, I was like, this is kind of odd, because, one, you just kind of, like, you prove that you're so entitled and you're so powerful that you can actually get away with slapping somebody across the face. You proved it right then and there. Like, nobody did nothing. There was no security. There was no guards, no ushers. Nothing happened in that moment. Absolutely nothing. They released I believe in that moment they had, they announced the winner for the documentary. It's such a blur, and I think that after they had, like, a commercial break, they had, like, there was, like, shots of, like, Tyler Perry and Denzel Washington coming to aid Will and to say calm down and stuff. And I even hear people saying, like, they're saying, like, yeah, man, that was good. Like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That was a joke. That was, like, clearly a joke. First of all, you have Chris Rock walking onto the stage to, like, say some stuff, to speak. In his comedic nature, and then how popular he is, you should know what's going to come out of his mouth is going to be a joke. Like, from the forefront, you should know this is all jokes. Hell, you have Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes also hosting, who tell jokes for a living. Like, this should be all expected. So the fact that he did that and he felt so cool doing it is just so sad to me. Like, now that I have days to think about it, and I've marinated on it, and I'm, like, thinking about it, like, you know what? I love Will Smith and I love Chris Rock, but I gotta go with Chris Rock's side because that was just so like, it was so uncalled for. It was so immature to do that because it's just like, it was almost like you were back in your childhood days when you don't like something that's happened and you resort to violence, right? You hit something, you throw something and all that. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like that because, these are the people that should be, well trained and stuff like this. They're actors. They shouldn't be totally like fucking getting this outrage over things because of their agencies and their brands and all that, and their just their publicists and all that. That they got to answer to a lot of questions. So for him to do that, to actually like have that big of an outburst, was actually kind of incredible. That he just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna smack this guy across the face. And I was just, wow, this is insane. And you get people from all over the internet on both sides, like, I stand with Chris, I stand with Will. And it's like, you get people like saying like, yeah, man, if you did that to my girl, shit, I'd do the same thing. Like, no, you wouldn't. You actually wouldn't. That this is so silly and stupid. And the fact that essentially he was able to give his speech, because he won the best Oscar, the best actor Oscar, and then, he was able to give a speech and all that, and his speech was very, very weak. He tried to, relate it to his character in the movie. And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's an actor. He's like 99% fake. Like, it breaks my heart to say this about my favorite actor of all time, and Will Smith. But it sucks. It's the reality. It's like, this guy is such a egomaniac. Has been for a while now. Hand to God, he is that. But, it's like, it sucks. It sucks for me because I got to separate the art from the artist, right? I love Will Smith's movies. I love his characters. And I was pretty much like on board with him as a person too, because, I don't see much of him. I've seen some of his YouTube videos and some of his Instagram posts. And I'm thinking to myself like, I know he can't be the super nicest guy just because of the nature of this job and the nature of this business and being an actor in Hollywood. Like, there's no way that he can be like all sunshine and rainbows, right? I mean, we kind of got that with the whole Ellen thing too. Like, everybody's like, she's so nice, and then you get things like she's the meanest bitch of all time. It's like, okay, well, maybe, that thing about like, don't meet your heroes is true. You really should not meet your heroes because you will be disappointed, or you will be mad, or even worse. So, going off of that, thinking about it, really, just trying to like get my thoughts across, get my thoughts leveled out. Like, what am I actually thinking about this? And now that it's happened, it's always going to be there forever, right? Will Smith got up and smacked Chris Rock because of a Jada Pinkett Smith joke. Now, you only got to think that, what if this actually causes a chain reaction in people's mentality to stand up at comedy shows, to stand up and maybe actually try to assault a comic, right? I mean, you hear stories about some people, some comedians having some, bad shows or bad spots where somebody gets offended and actually does stuff. Well, that was all kind of like, I wouldn't say like it's a majority of what happens, but it's definitely a thing that does happen. Now that so many people have seen it and it's been memed, literally everybody has seen this incident, right? Everybody has already seen this incident many, 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 many times. So I'm thinking that, people are going to be like, yo, if Will Smith can do it, then I can do it. But, those are dumb people because obviously you're not Will Smith. Like, you can't just do that. You can't do that. Like, and it's also damaging to the art form of comedy. Like, the art form of comedy is like, you should go into these, like, and not take any of them seriously, right? Like, that's the whole point of comedy, is to let loose and laugh and not take any of it seriously, because that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to break the ice and not to be taken with, like, to heart. Like, this is truly what I feel, or this is truly how everything is, is real. It's not. It's meant to relieve tension and to relieve stress. When you laugh, it's because there's a stressful situation or something that's like, you know, uncomfortable, and that's your way to relieve that stress, is to laugh at something. When somebody makes a joke about something like it's a touchy subject and they actually land it, you laugh. It's like, oh, I can release that stress or that anxiety that I had before the punchline or whatever. That's what it's all about. That's what comedy is. And for that to be now a talking point, where it's going to be now entitled people like actors and all that against comedians, and if I have to pick a side, I'm going to be a comedy crusader. Because, listen, none of those people in the Academy Awards, none of them are down to earth like me or you. They're not. So when they hear a joke, they get offended. I mean, imagine if it was Ricky Gervais who hosted the entire thing like he did the Golden Globes a couple years ago, when he was ripping literally everybody. And I mean, everybody was being ripped by him. Imagine if that happened to him. If Will Smith was like, smacked him, would it be this like I don't know if it would be any different, if it would be the same, if he would react the same way, like Ricky Gervais would be like the same, you know, have the same, you know, approach as Chris Rock did. By the way, Chris Rock handled it like a champ. I mean, you could tell that he was like stunned and shocked. And the fact that he was able to get on with it and go to the next nominees or whatever the hell that happened after that, it's incredible, because that is such a weird, horrible position to be in. It's like if you were just like slapped or hit for no reason in real life. But in this case, so many people are going to be watching you in the auditorium and on television and wherever they are in the entire country. It's like, it's insane to think about that. It's just mind-boggling. So, you know, I'm sitting here thinking like, man, Will, it's not a good look. And it's like, it sucks because like, that's what I remember from that Oscars. I should remember that Will Smith won the award. But when I think of the Oscars now, I think of that, the Will Smith slap on Chris Rock. Because it's just, it's been ingrained into my brain now. I can't not see it now. That image of him being smacked, the memes, the photoshops, everything that's been happening with that, it's circulated, it's happened, it's just all over, and like people still can't stop talking about it. You know, it's crazy. And I've been through the works on this. At first, I was like, it's comedy gold. It's great. I love that it happened. And I still kind of like that it happened, because I will never forget that moment of just like pure like excitement and not knowing what was happening. Like I was just absolutely, because I was watching it live. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? I will never forget that moment. But now you think about it, right? You let your brain process what happened. It's like, yo, what Will did was trash. It was terrible. It was so bad. It was just a bad look. And not just because, you know, of the action itself, but for what it was about. It was a joke. It was a joke. And it was from Chris Rock, a comedian. What did you expect from Chris Rock? Right? It's like, how do you go into the ceremony, into this auditorium, and not expect for a comedian to do what a comedian does and makes fun of things? It's not like saying like, yo, Jada, you can't grow hair. No, he didn't say that. He just said G.I. Jane because she has a shaved head. It's a joke about her situation and relating it to a movie, in which happens, the woman in that lead, my favorite movie, by the way, has a shaved head because she's a Marine. I don't understand, like, he didn't attack Jada at all. That was not an attack. That was a joke. And the fact that nobody in this world is now becoming super sensitive, that they just can't handle a certain, like, it's obviously a joke. It's obviously a joke. And I think that is what's killing everything in this world now. It's like when it's obviously a joke, like what that was. And the dude is like, ends up being smacked by Will Smith. By the way, I forgot to finish this point. He laughed first. He laughed. And then it cut away, and all of a sudden he's walking up to smack Chris Rock. So either my guy, as a character, Will Smith, the actor, the person, that's a bit in question. This man might have some issues with his lady. Now, I've heard of rumors, not rumors, but I've heard of that he's been cheated on by Jada, that he's been dating a rapper who's a friend of Jaden and fucking her and having sex with her. So it's like, it's weird, right? I've heard about the red table talk of the entanglements with this guy named August, I think, or Augusto, or Augustus, I can't remember, way back a couple years ago. I remember that. And that was when Will Smith was like so totally embarrassed. Everybody was pretty much on his side at that moment too, because Jada was just like being like an unfaithful lady, and it wasn't good. It was not a good light. So I truly didn't know how to side with that. I truly didn't know. So I just stopped watching it, stopped thinking about it, and pushed it out of my mind. And now you see how absolutely he went nuclear after he saw Jada, or what did Jada say to him, or how did he handle that? Because he was legit smiling and chuckling at that joke. So is it because she has that kind of a hold on him because this relationship is just trash? I mean, it's god awful. Like, I don't understand how this man and this lady are still together when so many, or, air quotes together, when so many other celebrity couples are so fake. They just admit it. They're like, you know what? This was going to get us some money, some publicity, but I actually hate you. I want to, get away from you as far as possible. Let's just end this. Why that cannot be a thing in this relationship. Like, clearly this can't be about love. This has got to be about branding and endorsements and publicity. Will and Jada, Jada and Will. Like, it's gone so far down I hate saying this word, it's so toxic that it's actually affecting other people. And in this case, Chris Rock. Now, this is just an assumption. This is just what I think, because I don't know them personally. But if I had anything to say about this, I would assume that Jada's reaction, and maybe what Will thought that she was going to think of him after that, and if he did not react to Chris Rock's joke, because their relationship is so fucked and so absurd and just bizarre, that she must have a little bit of a part in this. Now, she probably is like, if he makes a joke, you better slap him. But I think that, in order for him to prove to her, because, I mean, as if he has anything to prove, I mean, like, she's also super unfaithful and unloyal. Like, I mean, it's got this man absolutely, like, effed. Like, I don't know what to do. I truly don't know. So, in my closing statements on this topic, this situation, I can't support my guy Will. I can't. Because he used violence against comedy. A joke that, he probably did think was funny. And maybe he was persuaded by Jada to attack him or to do something, and he chose violence. And I just think that that's so juvenile, so immature, and a very cucky move that it actually disgusts me. And because of a joke, of an actual joke, like literally like told by Chris Rock, who's a comedian. I just truly think that it shines a light on people in Hollywood that none of these people like to be made fun of, but Will Smith actually just acted in it. And the fact that some people did cheer for that, and some people online are like, yeah, he stood up for his wife. I mean, it's just so, it's so stupid. It's like rooting for like playground at the school, like school playground violence. Like, hey, he did this, you got to go hit him. Like that. It's like that. It's so immature. It's so first grade or elementary school. It's like, what are we doing? We are human. We are adults. We should not be doing this. Now, Chris Rock hasn't said much on this. In fact, the only thing I've heard is that he apologized to Wanda Sykes because he thought that moment overtook what they were doing was, in their hosting job of the Oscars. I mean, sure, that's a good apology because that did take away pretty much everything that came before that, and even after that, nobody even gives a shit about. Like, Dune won 6 Oscars. Nobody gives a shit about that. Coda won Best Picture. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. So it's like it's insane. Will Smith won Best Actor. Nobody even then now gives a shit. So yeah, this is in question. This is in question. This is going to be talked about for a lot longer because there's already, rumors that the Academy is going to talk about, potential suspension of Will Smith from the Oscars and like the why they did not act and why they did not do anything prior, when the incident did happen. I mean, if they condone violence, right? They say that they condone violence. Why did they not intervene in that altercation? It just kind of it's very hypocritical. It makes no sense. It's like, well, he's part of the Academy. He's part of our brand. We got to protect him at all costs. He slapped a comedian. It's bad, but we don't condone violence. We will make a statement that we don't condone violence. And then Jada puts out an Instagram post of not even like really a picture, right? Or not even like a real statement, just like a picture. And it's a picture with text on it. And I'll be honest with you, like, it's not, it really, it makes no sense. It truly doesn't. And I don't understand because the post, if I can find it, Jesus Christ, hold on. Let me just find it real quick. Hold on. There she is. So she posts a statement with no text, no like actual caption, nothing. It just says, "This is a season for healing, and I'm here for it." I don't know what that means. From what? From a joke? Are you scarred from that? Are you actually like traumatized by the G.I. Jane joke? And like, I truly don't know. I don't get it. But that's also because she's so out of tune with everybody else, everybody in reality. Like, she's not one of me or you. She's not for you or me. She's just about herself. So is Will. So it's like, I'm baffled by it because even when we see it blatantly, their entitlement, and when we see their just like, you can see that they don't care about anything else but themselves, they still have the nerve to make it all about themselves. It's just insane. It's just insane. This is the season of healing. What kind of shit post is that? What? You weren't even harmed. You weren't even harmed. Nothing happened to you. You were just the punchline of a joke. That's all you were. And you know what? If that's how people are going to react now, kill comedy at the Oscars. Just kill it. Because they don't want it. You think those people, those actors and directors want that? They don't want it. They don't want it. We want it. I want it. I thrive on it. I love it. It brings me life. It brings me joy. I can't live without it. Because you can't take everything so seriously. You just can't. Or else you just become so entitled that nothing is ever funny. It's always so serious. Like, I'm so serious. My life is so serious. I matter so much to everybody. No, you don't. You truly don't matter that much. You make movies. Sure. We don't have to watch them either. You know that, right? Like, if nobody saw your movie, you'd be out of a job. We don't have to watch your movies. You make pretty good movies. You do. I'll give you that. You've made some of my favorite movies of all time, Will. Some of my favorites. But nobody has to watch your movie. Like, nobody has to. They do it because they like you. And with that type of fame and that type of thing, you're watched under a microscope. You are. Because if people stop liking you, they're not going to watch your movies. So I'm not saying that this is going to kill you. This is not going to kill you financially. Probably not. Right? Probably just made you even more money than ever. Right? But it's just, This is the season of healing. That's incredible. That's actually hilarious. That is hilarious because now you're like putting it like, oh, I started a movement because I was, offended by a joke. And now I could declare like this is the season of healing because it wasn't already before, but because I got a joke told on me, I'm declaring that this is the season of healing, right? I mean, this could be a bit, and this is also very vague, right? Is it a healing from the joke? Is it a healing of like what Will did? Are we gonna heal from this? Like, who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. Only people who are gonna know are themselves. But are they gonna tell us this? No, because why would they do that? They want it to be a mystery. They want us to figure it out. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And the fact that his speech was about him relating to his character and being a crazy father. Oh my God. So empty. So corny. Get off the stage, bro. It was so bad. Terrible. I didn't even watch King Richard. I was going to. But now I don't know. It's kind of tainted now. Now, hold on. That's a bit much there. It's not tainted. But I got a bad taste in my mouth right now from Will Smith. Maybe after a while I'll check it out. But right now, Will, man, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that. You showed your elitism, and I'm not an elite, so I don't like that. Not being very relatable. What if I made a joke about you? What if I made a joke about you, Jaden Smith? That or somebody else. What if I made a joke about your kids or even your wife? Are you gonna slap me? Do I need to put out guards out of the studio to make sure that Will Smith does not come and slap me, or anybody else that I potentially offend? Which I don't try to offend anybody if it's not in a comedic way, because if I'm just gonna offend somebody, then there's no fun in that. You gotta try to pick something out of them and try to spin it off of that. Make fun of people. It's called making fun for a reason. It's fun. Offending is just not as fun as making fun of people. But if you're gonna take offense to it, I please don't punch me, because that's not my intent. It's a joke. He's a comedian. And then people were saying like I actually was shocked about people on Twitter, because Zoe Kravitz tweeted like, so we're just going to allow assault at the Academy Awards or something like that, or I'm paraphrasing, but people were like, can we get Miss Kravitz out of here? Like, or people were like, I liked you, but now I'm questioning you. It's like, what the fuck are we seeing right now? Like, these people aren't, now I know it's just Twitter, right? They would not actually say this in real life because they're cowards, but just that kind of, that interaction online, that interaction is insane to me. It's insane that this actually is taking place. That people on one side hate everybody on the other side. It's like politics almost. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Now, I don't hate people who defend Will Smith, but don't be an idiot about it. Don't be like, I would do the same thing, man. That was right what he did. Like, okay, he could get mad. He could take Kristen to the back after the show's done and be like, you know what, man? You probably don't know this, but Jada has alopecia. It's been a thing for a while, and that was kind of a little rough for me. I'll be honest with you. He's like, well, man, cool. I had no idea. I just brought it. Besides, it was about G.I. Jane. I didn't make fun of her hair loss. I just made fun of that her hair was shaved, like G.I. Jane. Because G.I. Jane has a shaved head. Jada Pinkett Smith had a shaved head. I'm not saying that you can't grow hair, which I thought was fair and it wasn't even that mean. If you think about it, it wasn't about her losing her hair or the fact that she has alopecia or the fact that she can't grow hair or have long hair. It was about that her head was, in fact, shaved. That was it. There was no malice, no bad intentions. It was a pretty, like you said, it was a pretty nice joke. He could have gone even worse and still made it funnier. Which, of course, I'm for the outlandish. I enjoy that quite a bit. Trial and error. But yeah, people are dumb. People are so dumb, and they're even dumber because that wasn't the only thing that they got mad at. They also got mad at Amy Schumer because she also made a joke about Kirsten Dunst being a seat filler in the the elite side of the tables, the elite portion of the crowd who's in the Oscars. Like you get everybody in like an auditorium style seating, but at the front you get like these actual dinner tables with chairs and all that closest to the stage that people who are expected to win or maybe potentially going to win, they'll sit there. She made fun that Kirsten Dunst was a seat filler, and of course, the actual defendants to the death of her most valiant fans of Kirsten Dunst were on Twitter, like saying, like, how could anybody say that she's a seat filler? Look at her filmography, what she's done. It's like, oh my God. This is clearly a joke. She knows who she is. She knows that she's nominated. She might also know that, she's had a bit of an uptick in her stuff. Well, this could also like be a little bit of a funny joke because she is nominated and she's being called a seat filler, and wanting to talk to Jesse Plemons in that little segment. It was kind of awkward because Kirsten didn't really get along with it. She didn't really go with the flow, and neither did Jesse. I mean, God forbid these people have a comedic bone in their body too. None of them know anything. I mean, you should be able to improv this, right? You're a trained actor. You should be able to go with the flow. Why? How come none of these actors can do anything on the spot? Like Jesse's like, whoa, that's my wife, Like he can't like poke a little fun, go with the flow a little bit. None of these guys actually have the talent to do that, which is so bizarre because I would sure have thought that at least somebody would have gone with the joke. Like shout out to Javier Bardem and to Penelope Cruz on that joke. On Chris Rock's first joke. They went along with it, and they had fun with it. These guys, Will, Jada, Kirsten, Jesse, no, none whatsoever. And I'll say this. If you're actually going to tweet out Kirsten Dunst's filmography and say, how could he say that she's a seat filler? Look at her filmography. Look what she's achieved. She's being nominated. You just didn't, you clearly take this so seriously, so to heart, that this is your field, this is your passion, that Kirsten is your queen, that you have lost all sight of any form of comedy, any form of joke, any form of you've lost it all. You're so engulfed in this person's accomplishments that nothing else matters. No joke can be told. No criticism can be spoken. Nothing. They're perfect. And that is so weird. That is so weird that so many people were actually pissed at that. Like, there's articles being written and published that saying like fans were pissed at that Amy Schumer joke, and the fact that Amy Schumer actually came out and said, sort of apologized, is a big red flag to me, because they don't mean it in reality. This is also a show, right, people? You're in a business. This is the Oscars. This is part of show business. What are we doing? We have lost the ability to cipher what is real and what is a joke and what is meant to be funny and meant to be fake. I mean, Jesus Christ. These people are actors, but I doubt their ability to adapt when certain situations are meant to be funny for the audience. I swear to God, the people that are at the Oscars, I think they forget that they're being televised. They definitely are. They forget that they're being televised to actual people in their homes across the country and even over the world. It's insane how these people have forgotten that, or what it seems like. Because, I mean, whenever somebody says a joke about it, they get so offended. It's insane. That's why I'm saying I will be the comedy crusader for till the day I die. I'm the comedy crusader. But maybe don't have him at the Oscars, because they clearly fucking hate it. They can't stand it. They hate it. They haven't liked it in a long time, I would assume. These people just have not liked it in a long time. They've always kind of also maybe hated the fact that comedians, get this much publicity too. Because, there's an actor, their level of an actor, but they're not comedians where they can make you laugh all the time. That's a little bit more of a flex on an actor, I would say, because people can act. People can do, dramatic roles. But even like Robert De Niro himself is like, I could not do stand-up comedy. I could not. Making people laugh is so hard than being in a dramatic role or an action movie or a sad role. Stand-up comedy is like insane. So I feel like, to a sense, that some Hollywood actors are like maybe a bit jealous of our boys and girls in stand-up. I just feel like that's kind of like a thing. And it always kind of feels like they're like the black sheep of show business, kind of. They kind of are, because they don't always go by the Hollywood standards, I guess. Some do. Some become that, but most don't. And the fact that, that joke with Amy Schumer, Kirsten Dunst, and Jesse Plemons, the fact that so many people were so pissed off about that online, it's just like, these past few years, man, these past few years of like super serious shit that's been happening, and granted it is serious and it is bad, I think it's made us so like we can't let loose. We can't just have fun. Like, I don't know why that happened. Like, why we decided to go into this mentality of serious, with literally everything that we touch and everything that we see. That when a joke arises, or when something funny happens, or, the fact that we make fun of somebody, it's already like saying like, how dare you do that? How dare you do that? I don't know. I think that it's just some people that just, can't take a joke. That, there's some people like that, and that population has been growing ever since. And it's now just so big now that it's, it's literally, I'm a comedy crusader. Like, it's going to be an uphill battle, people. And you got so many people, other comedians being like, yo, bro, that was so stupid. That opens the door for people to punch me in the doing a set or doing a show. Why? Like, and it's like people, because there was no altercation between like ushers or security, or he wasn't even kicked out, it made it seem like it was okay. And yeah, like the Academy put out a statement on Twitter, but it's like, you're not showing any action as it happened. It's just, it does feel like politics. They got to release a statement after. Multiple sources have different things. Reports like he wouldn't leave. It's like, it's insane. It's insane. It truly is insane. I know I said I was going to wrap it up maybe 10 minutes ago, but I just had to go on a little bit longer. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just, it's been on my mind, and I haven't really made a public opinion about it. I've talked to some friends about it. I didn't really care about it. I thought it was really, like, it didn't really mean much. And then I woke up one day, I'm like, you know what? Will Smith actually hit Chris Rock. Like, that is not cool. Like, he actually resulted to violence. And I wasn't thinking that what he did was good. I'm just such a Will Smith fan, like, and I was part of that. He can do whatever he wants because he's Will Smith. But I was thinking, like, no, he can't. He should not be able to do whatever he wants. It's actually disgusting that he thinks that. And I'm saying it right now, right here, right now. What he did is gross. It's entitled. It's weak as fuck. It's embarrassing as fuck. And I'm not going to stand for it. I can't. I can't be on that side. I just can't. No matter what you can swing it. He defended his wife. From what? Was she being attacked? She was being made fun of. With a joke. That literally, after a minute after it happened, nobody would have remembered it. Nobody. G.I. Jane, that joke would have been just a flash, and like it would have been gone. He would have moved on. He would have presented the best documentary or whatever he was going to do, and then that would have been it. Instead, we can't get it out of our heads because he decided to react the way that he did over a G.I. Jane joke. Insanity. insane. I can't make this shit up. You really can't. Anyways, we're moving on now. Well, sticking with movies, I guess we can kind of pivot this way. We finally got, or I guess we is a bit of an overstatement. People who actually want to see this movie. I guess I could say I got a new trailer for Top Gun Maverick that will be coming out in May. I'll be coming up in May. That's what that movie's saying, essentially. It's coming out May 27th, and I can't fucking wait to see this movie. And this trailer, by the way, it was a banger. Like, I've been rewatching those trailers for the past 2 years because this movie has just never wanted to come out for reasons that you already know of why, that I don't need to elaborate on or I don't need to explain. But now Tom is feeling like, yeah, we're going to go for it now. It's coming out this year, this month, officially going to come out. And my God, I'm excited. I can't wait. It lifted my soul up after what we saw from Will Smith at the Oscars. I'm like, yes, this is why I love movies, because they're so cool. And I want to watch Maverick fly a jet. That's all I want to do. That's what I've been wanting to do for nearly 3 years. It was first teased in July of 2019, and it's going to finally come out in May of 2022. Isn't that fucking insane? I truly can't believe that. Cannot believe that. It boggles my mind that they waited this long to do it. Now, reasons of why we already know why. But the fact that it was announced, not announced, but it was teased almost 3 years ago, and it's finally going to come out this May. I'm about to cry because I just can't wait for this movie. And I know people that, don't care about this movie, don't want to see it, have no interest. That's fine. Do that. But don't hinder on my happiness when I'm going to be in that theater. In IMAX, by the way, I will be watching this baby in IMAX, the biggest screen I can possibly find around me. And I'm going to soak it all in. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of it because I deserve it. I feel like I do. I probably don't. But I feel like I deserve it. I need this in my life. This is going to bring me absolute happiness. That's going to happen. And I just can't wait. That's going to be a quick movie segment done, finished and done, dusted and done. We're going to move on to Moon Knight. Moon Knight, the new Disney Plus Marvel Cinematic Universe show starring Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. I don't know what Moon Knight is or what he was or his connection to Marvel, or even if he was a connection to Marvel before somebody bought somebody. I had no idea. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on the first episode, the premiere episode that happened yesterday. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on it because I actually was quite surprised at what I saw. Because, listen, I had absolutely zero, and I mean 0.0 expectations for this show. I think one of my friends asked me, what was my excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10 on Moon Knight, and I gave him a 2. Because I don't know anything about him. I didn't know what to make of the trailers. I know that he was a dude with a cape who was obviously a superhero who kicks people's butt for justice and good because he's a superhero, right? It's kind of like what they all do because they all have the same motivations, essentially. And I was like, yeah, that money was put into it, right? They got Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke. It looks pretty sophisticated. It looks pretty exciting. But I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything about his world or his enemies or his characters or nothing. So honestly, when I went in to see it, all I knew was that he's supposed to be like a Batman type character in Marvel, or more like a Daredevil type character, but like with actual powers and like abilities and like an actual like origin story of like his powers and all that. I was like, cool, all right, I'll like I said, I was not gonna check it out, but I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna check it out because I like Oscar Isaac. I think he's a terrific actor. I think that he was absolutely sidelined in the Star Wars sequels. Is disgustingly sidelined because he's a tremendous actor, a lot of talent, and by the way, in this pilot of this episode, this first episode, he absolutely steals the show. I mean, he is absolutely incredible in this pilot. And this is not a spoiler, but if you've seen the trailers, he is not speaking like Oscar Isaac. He's got a British accent. He's not American at all. He's from England, London per se. And he's straight up, I've never heard him with this kind of accent. I've just heard him in his American accent for the most part. And I was just absolutely shocked of how he transformed into this character. His character's name is Stephen Grant, and he's kind of a weakling. You can kind of get that from the trailer. He's a kind of like a very shy guy, a very timid guy, not an alpha really, and like he becomes Moon Knight in a way that had me a little confused at some points because I had no idea what Moon Knight did or what Moon Knight was. But after a while, you see how this all affects his life, and it affects his personality, and how it affects like the people around him in general, and everybody who does not like him and people who like him. I bought into it. I really did, because I enjoyed the trippiness. I enjoyed the mystery of it, and I enjoyed like how this is nothing like I've ever seen before in a character in Marvel. And how they were able to do that and actually convey it in a way in Oscar Isaac's performance that I was able to buy in completely. Like, if his performance was not as good as it was, I doubt that it would have been able to sell me that hard as hard as it did. Because I was in on it. I was totally in. I was ready for the next episode because I was genuinely like, what's going to happen next? Truly, I was just like, dude, they got this set up well with the characters, the bad guys, the good guys, his whole situation, his character in general is like going to be like on a trajectory, like, oh, I can see this happening, kind of, not like seeing like into the future, like I know what's going to happen, but like I got a good feeling like, oh, we're going to get something like this is really cool. And of course the acting, by him is just insane. Like, you can tell like this guy should be nominated for like a Golden Globe or an Emmy or something, because like his performance in this show is the best that I've ever seen of Oscar Isaac. The best that I've ever seen. And I've seen very little of him, right? I've seen him in the Star Wars movies. I've seen him in the Netflix film that he did with Ben Affleck and Pedro Pascal. It might have been called like Breaking Point or something like that, or something like that, or it was like an action flick. He was pretty good in that as well. But this, dude, you can tell like this guy's like a super, super talented actor. Super talented. Like bravo. Like, I was legit like, this guy should win an award because his performance is that good. And there's a moment where he really elevates it to the next level. And I'm like, I'm not going to say what it is because it'll spoil it, but like that moment solidified that this dude is just too good for Marvel. He's too fucking good. Like, he is going to bring in a fresh face and a new standard for how you approach Marvel films and how you make Marvel films. Not like what you think. Like, that's what I liked about this show. It was nothing what I thought it would be. Very unexpected. Very different. And I could definitely see how some people, some Marvel nerds, some Marvel fans might not like it as much as I did because of its differentness. And I know nothing, absolutely nothing about Moon Knight. Didn't read a comic book, never seen him in a comic book, never really knew anything about him in a game or anything like that. Knew nothing about him. Like, when it got announced, I'm like, that sounds cool. Moon Knight sounds like a cool character, but I don't know anything about him. And I'm sure we're going to get there. We're going to get to the fully fledged Moon Knight, sorry. But I'm going to be in on this ride because this ride, for what Oscar Isaac is doing with this role, and the directing too. The directing of this show is absolutely off the chain because it fits so well with the character and the world around him that it just absolutely it blends together so well with the character and the the tone of the show, kind of giving you a little bit of an unease feel, kind of giving you a little bit of a mystery or a trippiness to it. It really did sell me. I'm not kidding you. It was really, really good. And I think if the show really, if it keeps up with that pace, which I love, I can see why some people might not like it. Truly, like, hand to God. If you're like going into this thinking like this guy's gonna be like the brutality of Batman with like the coolness of Daredevil, or like he's gonna be like a street character, like he's not an Avenger, but he's like a little bit of a more down to earth hero that doesn't have like he has powers. He certainly has powers, like you can tell, but I don't really know to the extent. If you just see the trailers, you can see him like beating up some guys and doing some flips and shit, doing some jumps, doing some pretty acrobatic moves. Like he definitely has that little bit of a Batman, Daredevil feel, but I don't know if that's gonna show up just yet. I don't want it to yet because I love what's happening in the show. I love what's happening in it. But I was looking for the director because the director, my goodness, man, he outdid it. There's like an iconic scene in this show, in the first episode, that I'm like, I can't believe that's how it happened. That's how it went down. It was just executed so well. I just can't believe it. So, I believe his name is Mohamed Diab. Mohamed Diab directed the first episode. Bravo, dude. Bravo. I'm going to check the actual episode list, the actual episode credits, because I don't want to get it wrong. Because whoever did it, and I believe it is Mohammed, phenomenal job. The episode is called The Goldfish Problem. That's the name of the first episode. Let me see. Writers, director, Who was it, though? It says, like, all three. Let me check. Hold on. Cast and crew, directed. Does not say. Do I have to actually pull up Disney Plus to give the proper credit? Let me just do that real quick because I don't want to get this messed up. Because I actually really dug the first episode. Really, really did. Like I said, blew me out of the water. Was not expecting that. I'm glad I saw it. So just real quick, let me just go to the end of the episode and see who directed this bitch, because it was very, very good. I do not want to get it wrong. Because if I did, that'd be pretty sad. It'd be pretty embarrassing of me. I would think so. Real quick, let me just kind of skip around. Let's see. Directed by Mohamed Diab. Correct. Mohamed did an incredible job, my guy. Incredible job. I think you will get absolutely praise from this because of the way you did direct it, because in no way, shape, or form did this movie look bad. Or not movie, show. In no way, shape, or form did this show look like terrible. It looked like it was well directed, well choreographed, well executed, well acted from everybody, even not Oscar Isaac, even though he is the standout. He did an incredible job. Mohammed, my hat's off to you, bro. I think you got something here. I truly think that you got something here that's out of the ordinary. It's different. It's definitely not what you probably thought it would be, but I think that the fact that it is different, that it is not what you think of Marvel Studios or the MCU, for me, I'm all in. Truly am. And I want more things like this. It makes me excited for Blade. It makes me actually really excited for Blade and for other characters that are in this type of world. Like maybe if I could say it wouldn't be like cosmic like Guardians or Thor, or like Avengers like Iron Man or Falcon or Winter Soldier, but it's like more like a paranormal, like ghosts type of thing, like spirits and shit. Like, it was really good. It was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm still not on board of how it all happens. I think I have an idea of what might be triggering all this, but I'm gonna wait to let the show, for it to organically tell me how it all happens, because I'm intrigued. And it's not a knock on the show for not being clear. It's supposed to do this, and I'm actually, it's working on me because I'm actually intrigued. Like, I got to see what happens next, because, frankly, like I said, I was not expecting this, but I'm glad I'm watching it. Last but not least, we'll leave off on a little bit of sports. The NFL changed their rules for the overtime, now allowing teams to get each team to get a possession for overtime. And this is going to be only for the postseason as well, only for playoffs, because regular season, they don't care. They just want to get the games over with, and that's it. They just want to see it's going to be the same role for the regular season, which is going to be the coin flip. Whoever wins the coin flip gets the ball, has a chance to win the game right then and there. If you are in the playoffs, if you make it to the playoffs, you will then have a chance, if that team does score a touchdown, to win the game. Now, I believe if you do and they score a touchdown and a field goal, you could ultimately win the game by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, which is also another element that people will exploit, probably like, well, if they do this and they, if there's a team that's really good at 2-point conversions, then they're going to win. Well, I'm sorry, team, but you also have a defense that should be good enough and prepared to make a stop. That's what I've been hearing a lot on the internet and from everybody who has been reacting to this rule change. Defense has got to show up as well. They got to make a stop. They got to earn their paycheck as well. And I fully agree with that. I mean, how many times do we watch overtime games like that Raiders-Chargers game last season? The offense just scored willy-nilly every single time. The defense never made a stop, and that's because, for one, that they were gassed, right? They were tired, which is understandable. But still, it's like you got to be able to stop at least one fourth down conversion. Like, there's so many times in that game where they could have stopped it and ended the game right then and there, but they did not because they couldn't make a stop. So I think that with these new rules, with this new situation, with this new proposal of the rules, and especially because it was a jerk reaction to the Josh Allen thing back when Kansas City got the ball and Patrick Mahomes took his team down and scored, and then Josh Allen couldn't even get the ball. It's like a jerk reaction to that because they wanted to see, oh man, if Josh Allen got the ball, they would have probably tied it and kept going and maybe even won the game. That just didn't happen. It feels like that's why this rule was made, because of that, I think after the fact that it happened and been like a month or so after football has ended, I've honestly kind of forgotten about that. But if they felt like they wanted to make that change and that it was necessary, then that's cool for them. That's their choice that they could do that, right? They have that ability to do that. So. Sorry about that, but that's my thoughts. If it does, move to it's unfair because this team's good at making 2-point conversions and then they're gonna win. I mean, then it's just up to the defense. Then you gotta. It's a football team, not just a football offense, right? It's an entire unit. The defense has got to be able to make stops just as well as the offense can score points, because offenses sometimes also can score points as well. Sometimes the defense will outshine the offense, sometimes the offense will outshine the defense. It's just part of the game. You got to be able to play both sides of the ball well to win a game. And that's not being unfair. It's just that you got to play to the highest level to help your team win the game, whether that be on offense or defense. So that's just my 2 cents. I mean nothing. My opinion means nothing, but it's out there. That's what I think, and I think that we can't underlook defenses because they're part of the team as well, and they got to show up and they got to earn their checks and they got to work. So that's my thought on that. Last thing of the day is Mohamed Salah, and you're probably not even gonna know who I'm talking about. International soccer. World Cup qualifying, a match between Egypt and Senegal to go to the World Cup. Mohamed Salah, a star player for Liverpool and Egypt, is taking the penalty kick to potentially beat Senegal, but is shined with 1,000 lasers by fans in Senegal to fuck up his vision so he would not nail the penalty kick. And he doesn't. He sails it high and wide, doesn't even come close to the goalie, and then Sadio Mane, the next guy, comes up, nails the penalty, and Senegal goes to the World Cup, and Egypt is out. First of all, why was there no stoppage of play when you can clearly see that this man's face and body is just covered in green light? If you think about it, like, this is supposed to be a game to decide who goes to the World Cup between Egypt and Senegal. And the fact that the ref, and I understand that it's home field advantage. I understand that it was home field in Senegal. But how is that even allowed? Now, as an American sports fan, I understand that our sports, even our MLS teams, right, are not nearly as passionate, violent as European or even world soccer fans are. Clubs, country, whatever. I swear to God, I've been thinking about this for a while. European soccer clubs, you can't think of them as sports teams. They're like kingdoms. If your team comes up to my team and my team loses or my team wins, it's like they've gained control of that entire area. It's like a victory, like in battle, like in war. Like, our allegiance to our kingdom is greater than yours, and we will die for it. There's people who have died at soccer matches because their fandom is so strong. It is equivalent to being in allegiance of a kingdom. It's insane. Like, there was like a game in Mexico, I think, between two teams that resulted in so many injuries because fans hated the other fans so much. Like, here in America, yeah, we have rivalries like, Red Sox Yankees or Dodgers Giants or Cowboys Niners or stuff like that, but nobody ever really results into violence. I mean, there's just a point you draw a line, right? The fact that these guys in Senegal were using laser beams to mess up Mohamed Salah on his free kick or on his penalty kick is just insane to me. It's insane. Now, I guess that just happens to be with the European culture, the European thing of, listen, Europe had kingdoms way back in the day. As far as I know, in American history, we've never had a kingdom. We've always had a president or something like that. Like, there were so many kingdoms back in those days. Like I said, we're a young country. All right? United States is very, very young. We had no kingdoms that under the United States. England, France, Germany, Italy, kingdoms everywhere. And that mentality probably just went into the football clubs, right? The soccer club mentality. Like, well, we don't have kingdoms anymore. We don't got alliances to the king or anybody. But I support Messi, and I will die for Messi. Or I support Ronaldo, and I will die for Ronaldo under the Manchester United crest. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the emblems in European soccer look like they can be on a shield, if you think about it. Like the Manchester United thing, you could put that on a shield. You could put the Chelsea Football Club crest on a shield. I mean, it's not that far-fetched of an idea of that mentality of that win or die. Like, they have chants for their players, for their club, like they are marching to battle. It's insane. And I think that just that mentality of do or die and my team or your team will be the last one standing, it's cool, but sometimes it can be pushed a little too far. And I know this isn't a club thing that I was talking about with Egypt and Senegal. It was countries, but it's still kind of there, right? It's like, we will go to the ends of the earth to win this game. I will bring a laser pointer and I will melt Mohamed Salah for him not to send Egypt to the World Cup. Just insane. Sanity. It's totally bonkers. And the fact, again, that was not calling, hey, stop the lasers, we gotta let them take a kick. How was that not even, did that not even happen? I don't know. It's bizarre to me. So bizarre. But, they're going to the World Cup. Egypt is not. And then we move on, just like this episode. Anyways, people, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you hearing my piece on Will Smith and Chris Rock, their situation, that whole altercation, what happened at the Oscars. I think I made my point pretty clear that I am no longer in the camp of Will Smith, and I am a comedy crusader. And I will defend it to my very last breath. Instead of having a crest of Manchester United or Chelsea on my shield, I will have a picture of Chris Rock on my shield as a comedy crusader. Now, if that happens to be the cause of my death, I truly am grateful for my support. But know this, I will not let comedy die. I will allow jokes to be told. That no comic should feel that he's going to be assaulted because somebody made fun of somebody that they know, or for their wife, or something that they have, or that they do. By the way, alopecia hasn't killed anybody. Not like she has cancer. Jesus Christ. But you can find this podcast on Apple Podcast and on Spotify and on YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review. That helps a lot. DM me a topic you want me to talk about if you want to. Like and subscribe. Sure, because if you don't like, YouTube doesn't know what to promote, and rate, because that brings up the ratings on the podcast networks and the feeds and all that, and that helps a lot. Tell your friends, tell your family, share the feed, share everything that you've seen, the links, whatever, do all that, and we'll see you guys next week.